and his lovely wife, Ebere Ihedioha, Her Excellency. Indeed, I want to speak very briefly about a young man. I say young, he's still young at 60. But let me speak very briefly about a young man who I met well over 30 years ago. Right Honorable Emeka Ihedioha, as it were, was a very young, energetic, dynamic man when I met him way back in 1992. At the time I met him, he was a very young bachelor and had graduated from university and had started work in the National Assembly. Emeka was one gentleman that was easily recognizable, not because of his stature, not because of his complexion, but because of his energy. Emeka was one man who was all over the place, all the time. And that endeared him to myself and several others. So we had this young, dynamic man who indeed, as it were, had a bright future ahead of him. But at that particular time, he was just a young boy who had become an assistant to the Senate President. But after the very short-lived tenure, Emeka continued with his vision and his focus. Emeka had a great vision, first as a media person, and he started a company called First Page Communications. And he was, if you understand Emeka, you know Emeka, you'll understand that this is one gentleman who very few people can contain. Emeka was uncontainable even then. And one day Emeka came up to me, because Emeka and I became like family and brothers. Emeka came up to me and said he wanted to get married. And I said, oh, really? At this age? You know? In fact, I would say that when I met his beautiful wife, Ebere, she struck me as just the right thing for this gentleman that had uncontrollable energy. Ebere was a very quiet, very, very humble woman, young lady then, very tall, very elegant, dark-skinned, Emeka fair-skinned. You know, just two opposites in character and in everything else. And I say, glory be to God. Emeka had someone that can contain him. Ebere was the exact opposite. But the beauty of Ebere